What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning. So come by and say hello. All right, first of all, just want to wish everybody a happy 4th of July. Hope you celebrated well. If you hear any crazy loud explosions in the background, it's because people are still doing fireworks all around the neighborhood. So I'll probably be listening to that for the rest of the night. So don't be scared. It's just a celebration that we have here in the U.S. for those who are not or from out of town or from out of the country, I should say. Okay, so I wanted to get into a mid-year review and kind of look at what we've had over the past 6 months when it comes to Splinterlands, and then a general outlook on how things will be or what is to come over the next 6 months as we close out 2022. And yes, I said close out 2022 because we're in the second half. So I have the roadmap pulled up here. But obviously this isn't going to show everything previously, so I'll just go off the cuff, off of memory. And the first thing that we had for the 2022 year was Chaos Legion. That has been the biggest thing so far in this year, outside of ranked rewards, of course. But if you think back to where we were last year, and the craziness that ensued following the big boom with Axie over the summer and the SPS launch of the actual token, it got incredibly insane. Valuations, prices, asset values were all over the place. They were all rising. The amount of people coming into the space, amount of people who were speculating on assets, tokens, land, cards, it just got absolutely insane. And so the combination of the release of Chaos Legion as well as the crypto market, and I guess really the broader market, just really hitting that bear mode kind of hard in January is what set the tone, I would say, for the first 6 months out of this year. Now, the good thing through all of this is the fact that packs have been available this entire year. So anybody complaining about a lack of availability of packs in 2021 or the second half of 2021, we haven't had that complaint. In fact, we are getting the opposite complaint now because people want packs to be sold out. And I don't get it yet, right? Because this is, and I'm not going to go into it because people call me out on getting heated about the pack situation, but I think it's been great that we've had packs available. People are able to come in and buy packs if they want. People are able to come in and buy cards on the market for relatively cheaper than the older cards, I should say, because I don't know where we're at from a valuation standpoint. We haven't hit the end of the airdrop yet, which comes towards the end of this month, July of 2022. And so I think that the market can be very heavily repriced after that. But just the fact that people were able to come in and buy cards for significantly cheaper to play, especially at the higher levels. And these cards have been pretty good. If you guys have watched some of the videos that I've done, thanks to Darkest Night for the delegations, been playing with a mostly maxed Chaos Legion deck and was able to get into High Diamond as well as Champion some seasons. So it is possible, and we don't even have Modern and Wild format yet. So these cards, the balance that they brought to the game, I thought was tremendous. There are certain cards in there like Dr. Blight, Kelia, and the entire water team, pretty much. Obsidian can be pretty powerful as well. There are a lot of really great cards and competitive cards. And so building out a Chaos Legion focused deck with Chaos Legion rewards cards, and then kind of, filtering in some of the other, or peppering in some of the other older cards, if you want to, can really give you a competitive deck throughout the past 6 months, which I think has been great, right? For the game, it has been great. On the reward side, not so much, but we're going to get to that in a moment. The next thing that we had in February was the release of Waka, and the first, well, I shouldn't say the first, but a promo card, and maybe the first kind of celebrity collaboration that we've had, unless Halfling Alchemist was based on someone, but I don't think that it was. So that collaboration set up so much hype because regardless of how you feel about Waka as the kind of inspiration for the card and what Waka did or didn't do outside, for his own marketing with the team and what happened with this, the idea was born and it was a proof of concept and got everybody excited. And I kept thinking to myself, man, this is such a cool idea. And it's a great way to burn vouchers. It's a great way to use SPS and give SPS some kind of utility. It would be awesome if we got a card like this maybe every other month, if I'm being optimistic, or every quarter, right? Every 3 months at that point. Well, it's now been I guess we're approaching 6 months, or I guess it's 5 months ish since Waka came out, right? Came out in 5 months. It came out in February. So, and there was supposed to be another one. There was supposed to be an athlete that did fall through. So maybe this kind of quarterly cadence is what the team is going for, because now we're hearing that there is potentially a card coming out for Splinterfest sometime in October. So that could be, these types of promo cards that eat up vouchers, and I call them whale food, right? But it's like that, those types of things, they change the meta of the game. They get people excited. There's a hype there. And from a marketing perspective, I think that it could go really far. Now, again, I'm not going to comment on Waka. Obviously, my opinion on with Waka was it didn't generate the hype that everybody thought that it would. But it was a great proof of concept. And if it was just something that the team needed for their portfolio, then that's great. And I hope that they can continue doing this, because now it feels like, especially with all the FUD, with all the negativity, I get it, right? The frustration is that it feels like we haven't had anything happen from that, right? Waka, many people feel, was a flop, even though the card is good and fun to play with. And then because the second one fell through, it's just like, okay, well, we're not vetting people properly, at least the people that want to come through and be part of the project with the team. So I get the frustration, and I'm hopeful that we can still turn that around and maybe get 1 or 2 promo cards out by the end of the year with some kind of celebrity collaboration, because I think in order to penetrate culture, it's going to be important to do these types of things. And so whether it's through the Warner Music deal, whether it's through the sports deals that they're talking about, I hope that the team can land one or two of these before the end of the year. Now, after that, we got, there was a really long lull period. I don't remember anything of significance happening in March or April. There was a lot of hype and talk of, Modern and Wild and stuff being pulled in earlier, and happening in those months. None of that came through. And that's really when people just started to lose it. Right. And, I get it. I was one of y'all. Like, it just, we were constantly seeing delays, and people were just getting frustrated because the market was further going down, and asset prices were dipping within the game as a result of that, until we finally get to May. And May is like, right? We get 2 things in May, the first of which is the node sales. And if you don't care about validator nodes, that's totally cool, because they don't matter to the game, right? They matter if you are worried about the decentralization and long-term application of the game, but to actual gameplay, they mean nothing, and you shouldn't be spending your money on them if you don't care about the investment side of this. But it was a good way for the team to build up some hype, and we saw that there was money that was interested, at least initially in that pre-sale, to come in and buy out all of the validator nodes in the pre-sale within 10 or 11 minutes. So it showed that there was money and that there was interest for a new type of asset within the game, even if that money wasn't interested in other things like packs or land or whatever else is out there. Really just packs, I should say. Following that, I think we've got the biggest change overall this year to the actual gameplay. Outside of Chaos Legion and actually changing the meta, and that was the ranked rewards. And I think this was something that was long overdue, because it was almost like a second solution, right? Like we had solution A in October of last year with the bronze nerfs, and that was like a band-aid. And then you get solution B, or the follow-up to that, almost like 7 months later. And to me, that was the rough part, right? Because when Gank and Tales from the Cryptmancer and everybody was showing how much was being sucked dry from all the different bot farms, right? And just showing that the people that could have been earning a lot of rewards, it just wasn't structured in a way where the exploits were just doing so much damage to the game economy that these ranked rewards came in. They finally came in at the beginning of June, I guess end of May technically, or beginning of June. And we've now had like 1 month with it. And I can genuinely say that I'm very, very happy with how it has come out. And I'm also very happy that the team was able to get some major changes put within it, or put in it within a month, right? Within just a couple of weeks. So all of the feedback that we're giving to the team now, it gives me a lot of hope that we'll be able to get some quick turnaround times on whatever it is that we are asking for in the future, or things that are bothering us, or just feedback that the team gives, the feedback which the community gives, which is constructive criticism, right? So what do we have now down the pipeline? Because we've had a very rough 6 months, and I'll be very honest with you guys. It has not been an easy 6 months. It has been trying on many people, myself included. I genuinely rethink a lot of the strategies that I have. For example, I feel bad. I will say this right now, because I think that I went too hard on SPS. I do not have the confidence in SPS now that I had before, and part of me is regretful due to the fact that I went so hard buying so much SPS. This thing has absolutely collapsed with no utility, when I could have been selling my airdrops, and I was getting a good amount of airdrops and a good amount of staking rewards. I could have been selling those and buying cards to play with. And so the big flip for me was to not think of this as an investment anymore, and to think of it as a game. So, when people come through on the live streams or wherever and they're talking, there's a lot of negativity coming out now. I'm very clear. I don't think anybody should be investing in this game. I'm just saying it flat out. I don't think that you should be investing in this game. I will never tell you to invest in this game. I think it's a fun game. I think it's awesome to play. And I think that what the team is doing is really exciting. But if you're trying to make an investment right now, especially for a quick ROI, first of all, realize that we are in a bear market. And second of all, realize that this is one of the most volatile and just crazy asset classes where, yes, things can go and do multiple X's, maybe 100X at some point in the future, but that doesn't happen quickly, and it doesn't happen with every project. And so, with something like Splinterlands, I have a tremendous amount of faith in the team. And even with that, I'm telling you guys that there are certain things that I disagree on. For example, like the utility of SPS or lack thereof, and some of the actions that I've taken, because I could have been playing in Diamond. I could have been playing maybe in Champion if I had just taken some of those funds and put them into cards instead, and leveled up my deck, because now I can come in and buy SPS for like 4 cents. It's like worth absolutely nothing. And to be honest with you guys, moving forward, I don't see that utility coming in. What will be interesting, and so I do want to get to this in a moment, what will be interesting is that at the end of this month, or July 26th, we are going to get the end of the airdrop. And I don't want to dig in too much because, well, I've already talked about it so much in previous videos. But that, to me, I'm just excited to see what happens once people stop getting SPS for free. Because at that point in time, the only way to get SPS is if you are currently staking SPS, so meaning you've bought some or you have some, or if you go out and actually buy it. Now, at some point in the future, they are going to add ranked battles, and that's not on the roadmap. But I would say I wouldn't be surprised if we see that before the end of the year. Just a small prediction here. I wouldn't be surprised if they implement that before the end of the year, because what we're looking at right now is a little sparse, in my opinion. Especially if the team is ramped up and they have, the infrastructure to really implement a lot of these different things. So, excuse me. So let's go with Wild and Modern. This is, near and dear to my heart. I've been waiting for this since December of last year, so we're now getting it 7 to 8 months late, but it's okay. We're finally going to get it. I'm very excited for Wild and Modern, and that's hopefully going to come in before the end of the airdrop. Now, this, I think, is going to have very little impact on the actual game economy. I think some cards could potentially be repriced, but overall, if I think that the airdrop is going to have a massive effect on where the economy goes and where the market goes, and certain asset prices, specifically like both, I guess, Wild and Modern cards, then it's like Wild and Modern is just like a tiny blip compared to what's going to happen with the airdrop 2 weeks later, right? Or the end of the airdrop 2 weeks later. So Wild and Modern is just something that's fun for me and I'm looking forward to, so that I can actually be and feel like I'm competitive playing at higher levels now with from a collection power standpoint, because for those who aren't familiar, Modern format is going to have the collection power requirements, meaning that you can play a champion for 250k power, which before was like Diamond 1, I think, or Diamond 3. So it's going to be a lot easier to level up, and I think that that's going to be great for everybody across the board, and especially for all the new players and the new players to come. Now, the other thing that they have here on the roadmap is the tech modernization. Now, this is something that I think is going to be on the back end. The team is talking about this because they're very excited, but I think this has literally nothing to do with us from a front-end user interface. I'm excited about it because I think, at least from what I'm gathering, it sounds as though it's going to make things a lot easier on the back end for the team. So when I tell you things like I'm bullish about the fact that we'll be able to get quick changes in. So, for example, with like the ranked rewards update and kind of the ranked rewards 1.5 update that we've gotten so far, and all the things that they're planning to do in the future with ranked rewards, the fact that we can get those quickly, I think, is due to the fact that we are moving towards a place where tech modernization is going to help with that. So whenever they want to implement new things, people are able to come in, and it's like a plug and play style system where everybody can come in and really, do what they need to do and get it done. And, no matter who it is, everybody kind of understands the same code. I'm non-technical, so hopefully this makes sense, but that's how I understand it. There's like different coding languages. So maybe something was written in like a way that not everybody can understand. And now because they're standardizing it, it'll be easier for people to just come in and kind of share the workload and get things done much faster. So I would say the big thing though, that is coming down the pipeline for Q3 and Q4, or the second half, is land. And I know that I just skipped over Rift Watchers, but land, I think, is the one thing everybody's they don't know what to expect with land. So I'm going to jump to land for a minute, because land to me is really the next evolution of what Splinterlands can be as a game and potentially as an economy or ecosystem. Now, what comes before that is the non-card market, and the team has kind of referred to the non-card market as Land Phase 0. And it sounds as though we could be getting the non-card market very soon. Again, I don't have necessarily a timeline for that, but once the non-card market is out, I think we will be very close to getting Land Phase 1. And as we see here, you'll be able to reveal and convert your land, you'll be able to survey the land, the deed NFTs, and you'll be able to buy and sell them in the game. I think, according to what I've heard from Yabamat as a corrective to this, I'm not sure if they've updated here, but the Land Phase 2, I'm sorry, not Land Phase 2, but this will also show you what types of like resources and what your land can generate. Because Land Phase 2 is when we jump into actually implementing certain game mechanics. But again, that's for 2023, so kind of outside the scope of the video. So land to me is going to be a big thing, and what's interesting, and I think a little dangerous, all right, just being very honest with you, is I see a lot of comments and I see a lot of sentiment saying that land is going to bring new players in. And I don't think that that's going to be the case. We have such a stronghold right now on people who own literally hundreds or thousands of plots of land. And to come in and buy land for like $150 right now, I don't think people are going to be rushing into a game to buy land just because it's launching. Now, that being said, I do reserve the right to say that if the Land Phase 1 ends up being like better than expected, and maybe they pull in certain aspects of Land Phase 2 into Phase 1, then that could be something interesting, right? And that could maybe draw people in who are into this whole like metaverse concept and who buy land amongst, a bunch of different games. But with land as I see it right now, I think there's going to be a hype cycle for people within the game, and then that's going to die down relatively quick because everyone's going to be like, all right, I have my land, I know what it does, but I can't do anything with it for another 6 months. So hopefully we'll see something better than that, but that's kind of the baseline expectations right now. And I don't know that we get that by September. They have this for Q3, but I really think that it's going to be pushed to Q4. Now, jumping back to Rift Watchers, I think August or September was the last date thrown out for Rift Watchers in one of the town halls. So again, we don't have an actual date for Rift Watchers, but the way I look at Rift Watchers, and the only thing that I think is exciting about Rift Watchers, is the fact that we are going to take a bunch of SPS out of circulation. Rift Watchers, from a gameplay standpoint, is going to be great it's going to be great because of the fact that it's a game-changing meta. There's new cards available, and for people who are, into collecting all the different kinds of cards and leveling up their deck and finding new combinations, that's going to be fun. I love that. I mean, I think that's great. But from an actual game economy standpoint, the biggest thing for me is that it is going to suck up a lot of SPS, and hopefully, well, I don't know if I should say hopefully, but with SPS at current prices, right, 4 to 5 cents right now, that should lock up a good amount of SPS into the DAO. Now, that SPS isn't burned, and it's just going to be sitting there, and we as a community do not have control of it just yet, but that is something that I'm hoping will be available sometime maybe early next year or at some point in the first half of next year once the DAO actually goes live and we can do governance voting and all that fun stuff. So that's where we're looking at for Q3, even though I said I think land is going to be for Q4. Now, what they have on the slate for Q4 is Wild and Modern Phase 2, which looks like it's just going to be an updated user interface. So I don't think that that's going to be anything necessarily game-changing, both literally and figuratively. But, I think anything that can make the game look prettier and cleaner and run more smoothly, I'm all for it. So that seems to be a big chunk of what they have for Q4. And then the other thing is the SPS validators actually going live. So the testnet they're planning to have live, the licensed nodes, and then the mainnet live, right? So right now, people are still getting the rewards, or already getting the rewards, I should say, for the voucher portion of the licenses. We know that by August, the team has said that they want to have SPS go live, or by the end of August, they want to have SPS go live, even if the validator nodes are not ready. So I think Q4 seems a little sparse right now, and that's why I'm thinking maybe certain things or certain elements can come into play, such as like ranked battle rewards for SPS, maybe some updates to brawls, right? Because if you think about it, someone like Cryptomancer is working on Wild and Modern Phase 1 right now, and once that's done, he's said in like the most recent town hall that he's excited to kind of get to the next project and focus on, some other aspects of the game. We don't know what that is yet. I don't think he's mentioned what it is, but whatever he ends up working on, I'd be excited to see when that rolls around, and I would hope that it's not going to take him 6 months into January of next year. So we'll see how Q4 plays out, but if they were to pull anything up, my hope would be it would be the governance phase, or the SPS governance, because there's all this talk about validators. There's all this talk about what the community wants. And we know that Yabamed is very passionate about this, right? Very passionate about having the community vote on certain things. So that, I think, could be something which would be very exciting to be a part of. And if they could get that into 2022, that would be awesome, right? So if they can get that in 2022 and we can start making proposals and people can start voting on them and choose what the team does in terms of, whatever direction we want the team to go with these things, whatever it is, I just feel like that will help the community a lot, feel like they have a voice, because now it's just going to be like anytime somebody makes a complaint, and I know that I'm oversimplifying, but anytime somebody makes a complaint, it's just like, all right, if you genuinely like this game, and you feel like they're doing X, Y, and Z wrong, like make a proposal and like convince people, right? Talk through your ideas, let everybody know, communicate them effectively and respectfully, and we will vote, and the community will decide. And sure, yeah, whales in the community are going to have a way bigger vote, but that to me still says like what's the most important thing about that is like the best ideas still win. So if you do have a fantastic idea, well, now is the time, right? Or not now, but at that point, it will be the time to be like, hey, here's my idea. Here's what I want to do, and here's how I want to implement it. Like everybody, if you think this is cool, vote on it And the team will have to look at that and take it seriously. And if people can get behind it because it is a great idea, and maybe the hive mind helps kind of, massage it a little bit more to make it something that is palatable for the wider audience, then even better, right? Because now more parts of the community are getting in on something. So this would be my hopeful stretch goal, is that they can get governance voting into the into 2022. Outside of that, we have Rebellion, Land Phase 2, and Splinterlands Validators. I'm not, none of those necessarily excite me right now. I know that Aggroed has mentioned or has shared the kind of prediction that we will sell out of Chaos Legion by November of this year. I'm not as bullish, but I'm hopeful that we sell out by the end of the year, which I suppose is only giving me 5 to 6 more weeks than where he's at. But at the rate that we're going now, and at the rate that we've been going, I don't know that necessarily happens. Now, here's the thing. I'm not trying to make a prediction one way or another. What I am trying to say about Rebellion is whether we sell out in November, December, or even January of next year, we know that the team wants to take some time between the end or the sellout of Chaos Legion and the launch of Rebellion, right? As a time to just let everything breathe and let people come in, let asset values appreciate. And so what we saw at the end of 2021, I think we can see a small version of that. Not as crazy as what happened last year, but just a small version of that where, the hype cycle won't be as large in terms of metaverse, Bitcoin, and everything hitting new all-time highs. But with people constantly coming to check out the game, whether that is through just, actual advertising, whether that's through word of mouth, or whether it's through some of these other avenues which aren't listed on here, right? Which are Warner Music, this, I think he mentioned Warner Music, casino thing, and then sports, right? Some kind of sports collaboration as well. I don't know when those will go into effect, but if they are going to have some announcements in the next couple of weeks, which it sounded like they were ready to start announcing something soon, then I wouldn't think that those would necessarily be implemented until 2023, but the hype of those could be bringing new players in. And if those announcements and the updates for those announcements end up carrying through into October, November, December, well, then maybe that new player base sells us out of Chaos Legion and brings in, whether it's guilds or whether it's new players, whatever it ends up being. Even if we sell out in November, I don't think that we get Rebellion until 2023. There's just no chance. I mean, even if we sold out, someone made a prediction that we're going to sell out in August or end of this month or end of August, and I'm just I love the bullishness. It's going to be one of those things that ends up blindsiding me probably if it ends up happening, but I'm just not seeing us sell out that quickly. Now, maybe November, based on what Aggroed is saying. I want to be bullish. I'm just not as bullish as he is. So I'm thinking by the end of the year, and then if the team gives it a 3-month or 1 quarter break, I could see Rebellion actually not coming out in Q1 of 2023, but maybe Q2 of 2023. But now we're talking too much about next year. This is kind of just how I'm seeing the rest of the year play out. And I know this video was kind of all over the place and a little rambly, but if you're still with me, I appreciate you for sticking around. It shows hopefully that you have the same amount of passion for Splinterlands that I do. I can talk about this stuff all day, every day, and I do talk about it all day, every day. So that's all I have for you in this video. Let me know your thoughts below in the comments section, though. How are you feeling about the first half of this year? I know many people are frustrated, so feel free to share that. But are you excited about what is happening now and what is potentially happening over the next 6 months? And do you have any outlandish predictions or things that maybe I hadn't really thought through? One of the things that I said is I'd love for governance to be pulled up into 2022. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below, and we can continue the conversation there. That's all I have for you. Have an amazing rest of your day. I will catch you all in the next video, and I will see you around the game. Take care.